right, today we are going to be solving another math problem using the strategies that we've showed you the past couple of weeks. And we've stepped up this problem. So this is the hardest type of, the most challenging type of problem that we will give students. And I also put our strip diagram anchor chart next to the problem because I will be referring to that just like we refer to it in class with your kids. So today my word problem says, Mr. Mira bought school supplies for his teachers. He bought 918 items altogether. He bought 347 pencils. He bought 64 more crayons than pencils, and the rest were glue sticks. How many glue sticks did he buy? If we look at our strip diagram anchor chart, it says we need to figure out how many parts are in this problem and if we know the whole. So we're going to start by drawing our strip diagram and rereading the problem. Mr. Mira bought school supplies for his teachers. He bought 918 items altogether. That word altogether is kind of a hint that tells me that that's my whole. That's how many I have. My answer can't be bigger than that. That's the total. So 918 goes on top. And then I have to figure out how many parts. He bought 347 pencils. He bought 64 more crayons than pencils. And the rest were glue sticks. So I have 3 parts. And then I can plug in the numbers. 347 pencils. 64 more crayons than pencils. So what that means is I need to know the number of pencils plus 64 to get that answer. That's pencils, this is crayons, and the problem says that the rest are glue sticks. So we've now successfully done step 1. We figured out that there are 3 parts. We know the numbers in the parts, even though we don't know the total of the crayons yet, that's okay. Because step 2 says put any parts you know together. So I do know all these numbers in these 2 parts. And you could do it one of 2 ways. You could add this number sentence together and get an answer and then add both of those numbers together. Or you can just add these parts together. So I'm going to go ahead and add all 3 numbers together. So I'm going to do 347 in expanded form, just like we've done the past few weeks, plus 64 plus 347 again, because we needed that to figure out how many crayons there were. Okay? Oops. So 7 plus 7 is 14, and 14 plus 4 is 18. And I'm just going to leave it 18 for now, and then I'll solve it. I'll move the numbers over later. I know that 60 plus 40 is 100, so that makes that math easy. 100 plus 40 is 140. And then 300 plus 300 is 600. So now I can break up these numbers and put them together where they are supposed to be. So I have a 600 and a 100, that's 700. I have a 40 and a 10, that's 50. And then I have an 8. So 700 plus 50 plus 8 is 758. All right, a lot of kids will go, oh yeah, I have an answer, and they'll try to circle that as their final answer, but we just did step 2. So now we need to move on to step 3. Step 3 says to find a missing part, which is what we have. We have a missing part. We're going to separate the parts that we know, that we just figured out. We're going to separate that from the whole. So my whole is 918. I'm going to write that in expanded form. The parts I know are 758. So I'm going to separate or subtract 758 from 918. I have to start in the ones place, and I have to go from the top down. A lot of students will try to go from the bottom up, so make sure you always start at the top and go down. 8 minus 8 is 0. I have 10 minus 50 here, which I can't do. I can't take 50 away from 10. So I'm going to move a 100 from the hundreds place over to the tens place. So now instead of a 10, it's a 110. And I can do that. That's 60. 800 minus 700 is 100. So 100 plus 60 plus 0 is 160, and that is my final answer. Mr. Mira bought 160 glue sticks for his teachers.